the Silver Dasher.
Hello everyone, just a short little video to explain something that before I start the video here. We had an issue with a belligerent customer towards my last order of the day. So if you want to see that delivery and my explanation at the end, you can go towards the end of the video. But I was just giving you a heads up. This title of this video is going to be basically, dealing with a belligerent customer, that type of thing. But so continue to watch the rest of the video and see how my day went. But if you're interested in what happened towards the end, you can skip and go towards the end of the video. So anyway, hope you like the video. Talk to you later. Morning. It's Tuesday morning and I'm in my car getting ready to start the breakfast dash. I've already started the app and hopefully this is a better day than it has been yesterday. Yesterday was a brutal, slow and low day. So hopefully this will be a lot better. So getting ready to head to my starting position, my area where I always start, and hopefully to pick up an order real soon. So see you in a little bit. Well, I just parked in my waiting area and I just picked up an order from Jack's. It's small, $3, but it's only a mile away. As I explained yesterday, I'm to the point where I have to take everything right now to kind of get my acceptance rate back up. But at least I got, something, almost right away. But heading there now, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I just delivered that order. I mean, it was just like 1 mile from the house. A small little, it's an older neighborhood. In fact, the same neighborhood where B's Grill is, which is right there. That just, if you remember, it was a restaurant that was further out, and then they moved back closer into. What's that? It's an older neighborhood. A little quaint, a lot of houses have been fixed up, some not, some need some work. What was unique, I'm sitting there and there's wild, chickens running everywhere in the this is middle downtown. And there's wild chickens in this neighborhood running around, so that's something you don't see very often. So anyway, so heading back to base and see if I can pick up another order. So see you then. Well, just as I was getting ready to pull in, if I'm getting ready to pull in because I gotta make a U-turn, picked up an order of the Papa something quesadillas. This was confused me the first time. What it is, though, it is a ghost kitchen out of the Huddle House franchise. And I found out the reason for this is that Huddle House is offering dishes that is not on their in-store menu. It's only available online to when for DoorDash people, DoorDash has online orders that people can pick, but it's a ghost kitchen with a separate name, but it's within Huddle House. So anyway, getting ready to head over there. I'll post what the amount is, but now that I encountered it the first time, now I know what to do this time. So, right, we'll see you in a little bit. Well, I just made that delivery. I've delivered to this house before. In fact, the gentleman was out there waiting for the order again, like he did last time. If I remember from last time, he just gets off work. I think he works at remember that business I've been to a couple times. I think that's where he works, and he must work third shift with the same time as that lady I delivered yesterday. But as I was handing him the food, got an order for Burger King, and so I'm on my way to Burger King, and we'll see how that works. And so I tell you what, this is a lot better. It has starting this time than it was last time. So anyway, off to Burger King, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I just delivered that food. A little mistake on my part. The app told me to go in a certain direction, and I actually drove right by him, the customer. And I mean, he was wearing a hoodie and all that. I thought he was somebody waiting for a school bus. But he's a lot older than a teenager. But that was funny. But I realized, the app told me to go up this road. So wait a minute, something's on there. But wait a minute, and I looked at the map and I zoomed in, and it'll highlight the building. All you do in the app, all you see is just little squares or silhouettes of the houses. And so wait a minute, that's right over there. And then I looked and so I just turned around, and sure enough, he was standing out there, and I apologized to him. Had to little fun. So, man, I thought you were a kid a teenager waiting for a school bus. And he said, "Oh, it's been a long time since I've had to do that." So, anyhow, that was funny. So, got a little bit more orders, more than the 2 that I took yesterday. So, I am now heading back to station. I'm actually going to go through the gauntlet. I'm going to be on the northern end of the gauntlet. So I will go through and keep my fingers crossed to see if I pick up an order on the way to my waiting station. So in the meantime, we'll see you in a little bit. Well, did not pick up an order.
Drive southwest on Dr. John.
Well, did not pick up an order going through the gauntlet, and been sitting here in my station about 15 minutes, and then finally got a small order from Burger King. It's about $3, but it's 5 miles. But like I said, beggars can't be choosers right now. And plus, the market where I'm at, I'm not in a metropolitan area, so I think I'm going to have to change my strategy a little bit to kind of bite the bullet and kind of have to accept every DoorDash to make a little bit of money. So anyway, but Burger King's just across the street, so I'm heading over there now, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I just made that Burger King delivery. I went to the next town to a business I've never been before. Any type of I always enjoy going to new destinations and businesses. Even different customers. Learn something new. So next time, the customer that I just lived to, maybe I'll catch them on the next time. And I've been doing that. There's a business closer to town where I live. I've done like 4 up to 10 deliveries to that business. So when you, as a DoorDasher, you want to be professional, be courteous, give a good impression of not only you but as a DoorDasher, and if they enjoyed or are happy with their experience, they'll tend to continue to use DoorDash for whatever they want. And if we get more people to use DoorDash, the more orders, hopefully you'll get picked up. So anyhow, gonna head back to town, go back to station. It's just now 8 after 8. I've got about another 50 minutes on my breakfast dash. Definitely had more orders this time than was yesterday, where I only had 2. And one I refused, which now in hindsight, I shouldn't have probably never refused, but you learn something new. Oh, look at that. See, when you talk about being courteous, that gentleman that I just delivered to just gave me $1 tip. That makes me happy. See what I mean by being courteous and kind, and being professional? This is how, things work. I'll take $1 tip any day. So, anyway, so now, heading back to station and waiting for the next order. All right, see you then. Well, I've been sitting on station for about 10 minutes, but finally got an order from Starbucks. And it's real close. The customer is real close by. It's now 8:30. I got about 30 more minutes to my breakfast dash is over. And since I'm real close to the customer, I'm hoping to maybe get one more order after this. But today's breakfast run dash is way better than it was yesterday. I'll show you when I'm finished for the breakfast, and I'll give you this summary of what I did. So in the meantime, heading to the customer, and I'll see you in a little bit. Oh, that didn't take long. Just delivered to that Starbucks order. Very nice lady. I delivered here to the local Dock in a Box, and I think this guy wants this parking spot. Let me get out of his way. So it's now 8:35, 25 more minutes before my breakfast dash is over. Hoping to get at least one more order before the end of the dash. And then I will, if not, I will call it a day or call it a morning for the dash. And either way, I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I did get one more order. It's to Cracker Barrel. It's about $8. It is 13 miles, but like I said, I'm trying just to accept every order. But this is definitely going to be my last order for the dash. So now I'm on my way to Cracker Barrel, and then I'll see you in a little bit. I just finished delivering that Cracker Barrel order. I've been in this neighborhood before once. In fact, I remember that house right there. The reason why I remember it is they have a small little wooden stairs with a small little porch area to go. But the reason why I remember it, the delivery instructions said, be mindful of the hole in the porch. And sure enough, there's a rotten boards or hole right in the middle of the porch. You have to walk around it and get to the door. I said, man, you need to get that fixed, because the porch itself is only 4 foot square. I mean, and it seems to be the only entrance into the house. So anyway, I am done with the breakfast dash. It was better today than it was yesterday. Well, anything today could have been better than yesterday. So I am now heading back home, and when I get home, I will provide the summary of the breakfast dash. So in the meantime, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back home. Today's breakfast dash was way better than it was yesterday. In fact, the summary total is I made $31.90 with 6 orders delivered or accepted. I accepted every order that I had, and the result is I made some decent money. This is about average on a normal breakfast dash that I have in the past 2 months. Every once in a while, like the one last week where I made double this, that was the exception. So I'm pleased. So it looks like we're off to a good start here. So next is the lunch dash, and I'll start that here soon. I'm going to take a break, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, bye. Welcome back. It is now 10 to 11. I'm getting ready to start my lunch dash. The breakfast dash was better than yesterday. In fact, it's about average. I took every order that was sent to me. It was a total of 6. And I think I will continue that strategy for lunch. So I am now going to start the Dash app and go to my normal parking station and see if we can get an order here real soon. So anyway, thank you for coming along. And well, good news. Before I even got to my parking station, I got an order from Wingstop, so that's what I'm doing. That seems to be a pattern recently. Well, that's because, Wingstop opens at 10:30, and it's now almost 11 o'clock. So, a lot of people know that Wingstop opens that, and so I get quite a few Wingstop orders. Like I said before, the unique thing about Wingstop is I myself, as the driver, have to get the drinks. The employees don't do it. They stay behind the counter. So that's when I first encountered that kind of threw me for a loop. So anyway, on the Wingstop, and we'll see you in a little bit. Just delivered that first order from Wingstop. It happened to be to a customer I've delivered before, and what was unique about this customer, and the reason I remember it well, is he lives in a red barn. It is literally a red barn that has a couple of shipping containers as part of its structure. And he has a small little living area right next to the barn that's attached to it, and it's all painted red. It really looks like a barn. But the reason I remember this customer distinctly is I was over in the next town up, and I got a Mexican order. And when I went to pick it up, they didn't have his dessert, so I had to text him. So I kept, and he said, "Well, what dessert you want?" So surprise me. So that's what I told him. And it took a little longer to come back because on the next town there's a bridge that goes over a waterway. Well, they were working on the bridge on one lane, so the traffic was backed up. So I had to go an alternate route. That took a little. Took a little longer. Of course, way longer than the traffic backed up for miles on the interstate. But I kept him informed and kept him, where I'm at. Of course, you probably can track me on DoorDash website or app. But I just kept him informed. And one of the reasons he does a lot of DoorDash, he had broke his leg. I assume some kind of accident or work-related accident. And when I finally got in and delivered it, and sure enough, I saw him briefly, and he had a walker and all that. And after all that delay and work, he gave me a $5 tip. So that's what I kind of remember. So, but it's hard not to remember somebody who lives in a red barn. So, but they were only a mile from the order place. So that was a quick order. So it was a nice surprise, delivering to the house again. So anyway, heading back to the station and see if I can pick up another order real quick. Until then, see you in a little bit. Well, that didn't take long. Just as I was coming into my parking spot, got an order for Burger King, so that's where I'm heading. So far so good. Things are starting to roll. So see you in a little bit. Well, just dropped that order off. Dropped off at a school. Been here many times to the same person. The only thing that was different is that usually that customer orders McDonald's. Well, this was a Burger King. Now, it's been a few days, and in all those days, I have yet to pick up a McDonald's order. The last time I tried to get last time I was sent to pick up a McDonald's order, they canceled it, if you remember from the previous video, because the DoorDash and McDonald's for some reason was not working. And so DoorDash canceled that order. I got half pay. Well, since that day, I have never gotten a McDonald's order. Even if I was nearby, breakfast or lunch, usually I average about 1 or 2 McDonald's orders a day, but since then I have not gotten a single McDonald's order. I wonder if that system is still down, or DoorDash and McDonald's are having an issue. So, just got another one. Oh, it's been a while since I had this one. Dairy Queen.
Drive southeast on 19th Street South.
I've been there a couple times to pick up an order, but it's been a while since I've that I picked up an order from Dairy Queen. So it's gonna be something new. Dairy Queen is just right over there, so I'm not far. So anyway, heading to Dairy Queen, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I picked up the Dairy Queen order, and this one to me is a very familiar place. It's a business in the next town over. But what makes this memorable, I think in the couple videos back, I got excited about how the DoorDash app used my picture as the location of where you need to drop things off. And I got all excited. Well, I'm going back to that business again, and sure enough, they still are using my picture. So, and I recognized the name. This is the same customer as before. Very nice young man. So it's kind of comforting that you go to be able to go to your same customers and the familiarity of where you're going, how to do things. So anyway, I'm heading over there and to leave and give the customer his order. So I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I just delivered that Dairy Queen order. I talked to the customer who had the last time I was here. He picked up it was the same customer. But the last time I was here, this is I always find it interesting. It is a business, and when I came up here the last time, they had this big, huge 18-wheeler was blocking the driveway, so I had to go behind the building. That's where he met me. But this 18-wheeler had a big, huge machine on the back of it. And I was kind of curious. He said, "What kind of a machine is that?" And he said, "What it is? It's a machine that tests the pressure of cans, used for food industry, like on a conveyor belt. You probably have seen like videos where you see all these cans rolling around, in a row. But this thing pressure tests those cans on the food assembly line, so they make sure that they are sealed correctly." It was a big, huge machine, and I said, and what they do, they refurbish the machines. And I just talked to him, and I said, just out of excuse me, I said, out of curiosity, how often do they, put out a machine? They said it takes a few months for each machine. So, wow. So it takes about, I would guess, like 3 or 4 months to refurbish one of those machines, put it back out. But it's huge. It's a huge machine, that what they do. And they said that's not the only thing they refurbish. They refurbish other. So I think that basically it's a company that helps refurbish and or repair machinery used in food preparation or food factories. So anyway, so I'm heading back to base, so to speak. I'm back in the zone now, and hopefully I pick up an order either here or head back to base and pick up an order. So either way, I'll see you in a little bit. Well, as I was heading on this interstate back to base, I picked up an order from Arby's, but not where I'm going, but the Arby's back where I just came from. So making a U-turn here.
Take exit 165 toward Denbury.
So making a U-turn here and get back and head back to the town I was just at and pick up an order there. So let's see what happens with this one. So see you in a little bit. Well, I just dropped off that order. I delivered to a neighborhood that I've been to before out here in the next town. But I'm on a road. I'm going to head back the back way and not go back on the interstate, because I think I've explained this before. Basically, I'm making a loop that where this road crosses. It crosses the road that starts the gauntlet from the north end. So that's where I'm heading. So with this direction, I'm going to go head that way and start down the gauntlet from north to south. And let's see if I pick up another order. I seem to be getting a little bit faster orders than yesterday, and that's anything better than yesterday. But yeah, that order that I picked up when I went out of town, that order brought me back into town or closer to town. So yeah, things are working out so far. So anyway, see you in a little bit. Well, traveling the gauntlet paid off. And just as I started going into the gauntlet, I picked up an order for Little Caesars. So that's where I'm heading, and we'll see you in a little bit and see how it works out. Bye. Well, I just delivered that pizza order. Nice little family. Cute little girl. House full of Halloween decorations. So it's so as I was delivering the pizza, I picked up a new order, of all places, Outback Steakhouse. The Outback Steakhouse is recently opened, I'd say within about 3 or 4 months. But it's about to get some stiff competition, because right across from the interstate, they're building a Olive Garden. Yay! So we don't have to drive to the next town to go to Olive Garden. And a Longhorn Steakhouse. So this is gonna be interesting. So I've been to the Outback Steakhouse one time to pick up an order, and they have, this is the first time I've ever seen it, they have on the side their own zone, so to speak, for pickups. People that pick up online orders, like a normal person that called in and pick up an order. And that's, as me as a DoorDasher, that's where I also go. And they have their own cash register and all that. And so last time I was there, the lady came out there. I was about to go in the store. She said, "Well, we bring it out here." So I know, at least I know somewhat what to do on this one. So anyway, so I'm heading there now, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I just delivered that Outback Steakhouse order. Felt a little bad because the app told me to hand deliver to the customer. In fact, the app will then said, sometimes you hear a computer voice, additional instructions, please hand to the customer. Well, I went up there and just ring the doorbell, and you hear a bunch of dogs. Then I look to the side of the door. Please do not ring doorbell. Well, oh crap, And she, of course, she sounds like she's got $1 million in there. And so she just cracked the door open and says, "Just set the food on the bench." And so I sent her a text message to apologize. I was just following what the app told me to do. So hopefully she's not too mad at me. So anyway, heading back to station. and see if I can pick up another order. It is now 20 after 1. Things been a little steady. It's getting warmer. I'm almost finished with my first Gatorade. It's been cooler, especially during the morning. It was cooler, but now it's starting to get warm. It says 84 according to the car, but we'll see what happens. So let's on to the next order. See you in a little bit. Well, I just picked up an interesting order. It is not food, it's not items, it's liquor. I believe I recognize the name and the destination. I think I delivered to this customer 2 or 3 times before. Since I'm over 21, a DoorDasher can deliver liquor. It's just that when I get to the customer, it has to be hand delivered. But before I even give the stuff to him, or her, I have to scan their driver license, and then they have to sign on the app their name, and I myself have to look at the ID and verify that the ID matches the person. And then once that's done, then I can give them the order. So it's all the app will self-explain exactly all the steps as it goes through. And the customer that I'm going to has done this many times before, so he knows the routine. So anyway, that's where I'm heading to the customer, and it is now currently 1:36. I got another hour and a half before my session ends. So far, it's been decent. Still way better than it was yesterday. So, and it's getting warmer again. So, anyway, on my way to the customer. We'll see you then. Well, I just delivered the liquor. Went through the verification. Same customer he is the only liquor customer I've ever delivered to. Anytime I pick up a liquor order, it's always to him. Very nice guy. Works from home. He works security. Actually, he works for the government. So I assume he's a computer guy like I was. But yeah. So now I'm taking a quick break. I've got to get gas. That's the neat thing about the app. You can go pause the orders. Now you can do it manually, but in this case, I was in the middle of delivering the order. I can go to and say, okay, as soon as I make the delivery, just pause any calls to come in for about 30 minutes, and then I can resume that because I just need to go and get some gas. I'm right next to the interstate, and there's all the truck stops here. So anyway, once I get gassed up, it is now 1:48. Just a little over an hour left in the lunch dash. It's been pretty decent. I've been real happy with it. Just like anything, feast or famine. Famine yesterday, hopefully feast this today. So anyway, on my way to get gas, and then head back to my station and hopefully pick up another order. So I will see you in a minute. Okay, I just filled up. It cost me about $32. I gas up about at least once a week, sometime, or at least once every 6 days. I only work 4 days, so really, of course, then I have extra traveling with the wife and all that. So for actually work-related, I think I really only gas up once a week. Excuse me. So that that only cost me on average about $32, $35, depending on the price. Heck, a lot better when I first started. I started with my Tundra pickup truck. To fill that sucker up is $80 or more. And it was, I told us, this ain't gonna work, and that's when I decided that if I'm gonna do this as business, as I mentioned before. I went ahead and sold I had a 2016 Mustang, or was it 2014? No, it was 2014. It was red. Had the Mustang logo on the side. It was in perfect condition. I had some work done it. You know, when I bought it, the trunk area, they must have did something. The liner, whatever, they trying to do some repair and try to use some kind of tape or something to keep everything in there together. And I said no. So I spent a little bit of money and went to Ford, and they fixed it up new. The reason I had to get fixed because the satellite antenna for it would only work when the trunk was lifted up. So while they weren't there, I told them to fix that. So, but I had that car for about 3 years, and I was using it to drive to work. Then COVID hit, and I was really working from home most of the time. Rarely drove the car, and if we went anywhere like shopping, we drove my wife's car. My wife's somewhat handicapped, and it was hard for her to get in the Mustang. Anyway, so I went ahead and sold it. I sold it through a brokerage firm that specialized in selling used cars. They have a team that details the car, cleans it, waxes it, and makes it, and it turned out it looked better than when I had it. And they sold it for a pretty good price, and I got a pretty good portion of that price. So that money was used to help down payment on this car. And that, as I mentioned before, selling that Mustang, it hurt. I love that car, but gotta think about the future, and things change. And I decided that I'm going to retire, but I needed to do something and make supplemental income. So I'm doing DoorDash, and if this doesn't work out, I'll see if I can find any other kind of delivery type thing. So I needed a car that can be adjustable to the needs. That the RAV4, the back seats can fold down, and I can carry more stuff. Anyway, enough of that sad story. Heading back to base, and hopefully to pick up another order. Still just over an hour left, and hopefully I'll pick up another order real soon. So in the meantime, I'll see you in a minute. Wow, that was a near thing. When I got back, delaying the dash to gas up, oars went cold. It's now 2:45, 15 minutes before my dash is over. I thought I wasn't going to end it, but then lo and behold, I got saved. First time I'm going to the store, I'm going to Crystal's. $17 order for 11 miles. I think that's what it is. I'll double check. Yep, almost $18 for 11 miles. So, yeah, that's a good way to cap the lunch drive. And I was parked in my standard area, and Crystal's just right over there. So, definitely going to be my last order of the day, and so I'm going to pick it up and deliver it, and I'll see you in a little bit. Well, got another surprise. This is a double order. I just picked up the order from Crystal's. Now I'm going to Wingstop. It may be all going to the same customer. So we'll see you here in a minute. Catch you later. Well, that was the end of my dash for lunch. But I'm going to have to discuss with y'all and let you know what has happened. First of all, let's start with a summary of the ending of the day. Very good day. I ended with $88.16, which with 8 offers, 9 deliveries. Very good day. But it ended on a very sour note, and this is what happened. I had, if you remember from the clip, I picked up a order from Crystals, and it was a pretty big order. As soon as I picked up the order, I go in the app, and then DoorDash sends me I need to go to Wingstop. So, okay. So I go to Wingstop, pick up that order, and I had already informed the Crystal order that I'm on my way. But then, no, I didn't. I said I was waiting on the order. And so as soon as I was got in the car, I said I need to go to Wingstop. And what happened is the location I was going to, those two customers were like they were in the same neighborhood, not even half a mile apart from each other. So DoorDash said, while you're there, go pick up the Wingstop order, which I did. And then I took the Wingstop order, and then I told the Wingstop order customer that I was on the way. As soon as I start driving, DoorDash, and I get a call from DoorDash. It was a customer calling, and what it was an elderly gentleman was very upset that he spent a lot of money on his Crystal order, and he got notified that I picked up a second order, and he was insisting that I give him a customer number, and what basically says he's going to cancel the order. Don't come by. Don't come. The food, throw it away, or you had a big tip coming. You're not getting a big tip. And I explained to him, he was very says, sir, I'm on my way. Picked up the second order. He said, well, why did you do that? So, well, sir, I'm just following the DoorDash app instructions. And I said, well, I need to talk to DoorDash. I'm talking to you. I said, sir, I'm not a DoorDash employee. I'm an independent contractor. I just drive for DoorDash. If you have a problem, you need to contact DoorDash themselves. Well, what's the number? Well, sir, I don't. And saying this is all while I'm driving. And it says, and then he starts getting angry and angrier. And it says, sir, you need to go look at your app or your website and contact. If you want to cancel an order, you need to go. That's your prerogative, and go. You have to talk to DoorDash. And he just get angry. And he says, he's an elder. I can tell he's an elderly gentleman. He just want, argue with me, and I said, just do what he says. I said, sir, I am driving, and while I'm driving, I can't see the directions to the first order. And he said, well, you GD, pull over and give me the number. I said, sir, I don't even know what the number is. Even I don't have customer support number. That's on your app. And he just getting belligerent, and so I hung up on him. So I made the first delivery, and I was under time. You know how if you look on the app, it tells you estimate time to get there. My number was in the green to get to the first order. I delivered the order, and I almost thought about calling DoorDash, my DoorDash provider, and tell them, I'm having a problem with this customer. But I decided against it. I was going to go ahead and deliver the food, and what I was going to do, I have a second camera. I have an Instant Go 360 that I clip on, that I'm starting recording, me delivering food. So I had this, and I said, well, I'm going to turn this on, carry it on, and if I have a problem, I have at least proof, the customer's belligerent. So and lo and behold, the order, the location was practically right as the next neighborhood, right next across the street from the neighborhood I was just delivered. And it was a gated community. and the order and the instruction there gave me the passcode and everything. So I go in there, and very high scale neighborhood, everything, manicured lawns everywhere. So I got to the house. I turn on the camera, and I go up there, and it says the instructions there was supposed to be a PIN number. So I go to the door, and the customer's not there. There's a piece of paper taped to the door with the PIN number. It says DoorDash, here's the PIN, and leave it. That's what I did. I will post that video of me, of getting to the door. I'm not going to show the entire me walking up to the house, but I'm going to show you me walking up to the door. I don't want anybody to find out, where this guy where this guy lives. But I delivered the food. And then what happened is, as soon as I called DoorDash support and told them what happened, I said, I assume you guys have that phone call recorded. And I explained everything. I told them, I explained that I'm not a DoorDash employee. I'm just a contract driver. I don't have access to the DoorDash customer support. I told him everything, and I told him I hung up on him when he really started getting loud at me and, screaming at me. And they're going to send me information. They told me, and they're going to block him, so I don't have him as a customer. No, that's fine. I don't want that guy. Probably what's going to happen, he probably won't ever order from DoorDash again, because he was so belligerent and hated it. But then they asked me, they're going to send me some information. It's just information. Do I want to file a police report? And I said, no. He's just mad because he ordered food, paid a lot of money, and I'm sorry, but I'm just following DoorDash. It's him. That's important. If you feel unsafe delivering, call support and tell them you have an issue. And there's also the emergency 911. If you have a problem, like your car wreck, you might have to try that. But I'm old too. I'm 62, but I don't ever cuss people out. Especially people the work. It's not their fault. I'll cuss out the company, but not the employees. Or at least I would go cuss out a supervisor. But employees they're just doing their job. And look, I try to be as helpful. I've done this before. I used to work customer support at Target while I was in between. Remember, I was laid off twice, and in between jobs I worked at Target, and I worked customer support, the service desk. And I knew, and I've dealt with customers in my career, so I know exactly. I try to do all the tools. You try to calm him down and all. Of course, I can understand. So, well, my food's gonna be cold. And I explained to him, I have a bag that I keep, and I have towels in there where I insulate the food so to keep it hot. But he didn't want to understand that. So, yeah. Thought I had a good day, but very very interesting ending of the day. But I will tell you this: if you're door dashing or if you're doing any kind of service work, do not take if somebody calls you or customers complain and all that, you try to de-escalate and all that. But as soon as that customer starts dog cussing you or raising their voice and start screaming at you, you hang up. And then you call support. There's no call for that. So anyway, very interesting end of the day. But I will post the video of me after when I get everything put together. So anyway, whew, boy, what a way to end it. So thank you for joining me today. if you like this video, please like it, so it helps me build this channel. If you like what you see, I encourage you to hit the little icon in the bottom right and subscribe to my channel. And we will do this again tomorrow, hopefully with good orders but no angry customers. So anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.